Hey everyone, Vince here from the Dalwell Podcast. This week we're going to be talking about the unfortunate passing of Jason David Frank. Our thoughts about the current situation with that. We also want to talk about what we're got planned for Thanksgiving and stuff. So we hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into it, guys.
The older ones, it's like whenever you find out someone passed away when they're like, in their 70s or 80s, it's kind of like, you can handle that a little bit better. It's the ones where you hear about like Aaron Carter and Jason David Frank, where it's like, I mean, he wasn't that old, man. And I
No,
know
I
somebody
know.
in the chat, somebody in the chat was saying how apparently he had like a lot of personal stuff going on, which is really sad. But
He
I
did.
mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, it gets said every now and then, and it's trying not to be too hurtful in terms of feelings to people, but it's like you're really going for a permanent solution to a temporary problem. It's like, yeah, it sucks, and in the moment it's hard, right? It's difficult, but I mean, the pain passes, and that's where it's like you need good, um, support networks. If you know that your support network is lacking and you know that you struggle with these things, you need to like go get professional help just to keep you on the right track. Because man, I mean, it's crazy when you hear about these semi celebrities, right, or even outright celebrities, like a handful of years back whenever Chris Cornell and Chester, right?
Jester,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it was like, man,
a month,
are you
almost a month between.
yeah, I mean, it's crazy to hear about that stuff, and you wonder about like what all was just plaguing them, right? What kept them from going out there and getting the help they needed? And I mean, like you can never know what pushes someone finally over that edge, but it's like,
Oh
nothing
wow.
nothing's worth taking your own life over.
Well, and it's hard. Oh, go ahead, Colin. I'll go to that.
Nikki Acox. Okay. She played the first Meg in Supernatural, the blonde.
Okay.
She passed away.
Oh wow, okay.
She was
Damn.
47. She had leukemia, I believe. Yep.
Cancer sucks, man.
Yeah. Well, I know that like it's hard trying to get past those demons that are, depression.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even with having family members and friends around you, they're sometimes they're not always there in your darkest moments.
Well, and that was one of the crazy things, right? Right. Whenever you first posted up that thing about it, about the announcement, right? And I went looking, and it hadn't been confirmed or anything. At uh, one of the sites that was talking about it said how like some trainer or buddy of his had
yeah,
posted on Facebook saying, that he had called him that night, and he just said, I got to him too late, right? Like I reached back out too late. And it's like, I mean, that guy's got to, and that's kind of the part that also hurts, right? It's like now that guy's got to live with that weight, right? That if he had just been a little bit quicker, right? If he had been there by the phone, right? There's always that what if scenario that sticks in your mind, and now it's almost like it almost is a disease in and of itself, that now it's transferred some part of that pathogen to him, right? Like,
yeah.
yeah, it was depression that led to the one death, but now this other guy's got to live with that again, that weight on his shoulders of, man, I could have possibly been the guy to stop him at that moment, and he wasn't able to get to it, and that's unfortunate.
Well, that's something I've had to deal with, because whenever our buddy Jason passed, we were playing Bastion, all day the day before, and I think we were playing something uh that morning, and then he just said, "Hey, I'm gonna take a nap," and then I told him I was gonna be busy because Bobby wanted to watch TV, and I'd get back with him later, and that later turned into a couple hours, and then I got that phone call from Ash, our friend, who was kind of rooming with him, and that he had passed. And it wasn't because of suicide, of course. He had had a seizure while he was sleeping, and Jason had this weird thing of how he would sleep. But that day he was sleeping, he was just literally face down on his couch, just kind of exhausted, and
Yeah.
he had, seizured, and in his sleep, and he passed because he just,
Mm.
you know, wasn't in a best place to get oxygen, sadly. And that messed with me for a while, because it's like I could have called him. I could have been playing with him, and he wouldn't have had that happen. He'd still be here with us. But you can't control that. It takes
Yeah.
it takes time to get over that mentally in your head as a friend. You know, even like family members, it takes a while to get over that kind of thing. And I know for me, the like I've said, the carjacking messed with me a lot. And I've had moments of weakness, but I've never really attempted. But I've had those thoughts. I, it's and it's usually when no one's around.
Yeah. I mean, when you're stuck with yourself, right? And you've got any kind of negativity whatsoever, it can amplify if you allow it, right? If you let that stuff seep in and there's nothing there to echo back to quiet it, then it just amplifies and amplifies until it either eats you up or you're able to shut it down.
And overcome it. Yeah. And be reminded why. It's like, why well, you got to find, it doesn't matter why we're here. It's a matter of, you have to find that strength and the reason to continue to live, and move past the things that drag you down. There's experts for that. There's phone numbers that people can call. But I know that before I even knew it was suicide, I was like, holy crap, what the hell happened? What he was like, as far as I know, super fit and, very active. And I'm like, he's only 49. He's only 8 years older than I am. That's crazy. And then, of course, the suicide thing. And it's just, you look at the type of person he was, and, sometimes, like I've said when I was typing it in the Discord, it's like you hide it from the world because you feel it's a weakness, or you feel no one's going to listen to you. But then you're deep set in your process that you can't escape it. It's just sad to see someone so young, especially someone that's pretty close to all us, or and
Well, I mean, just somebody that was clearly so involved, right, with that community. I mean, back like whenever they did that fan film, right, the dark Power Ranger stuff, like he was in it, right? Like he was involved whenever. He seemed like he had a real passion for the fans, and knowing who was there for him. And you see a lot of the commentary after he passed about all the people, all the pictures of cons and stuff that he was there and people had great experiences with. And it's like, when you see someone who has that much around them and they still find themselves in that spot, it's like it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just a matter of being aware of yourself, and trying to guard yourself as best as you can against those things. And when you start falling into those dark places, or if you see someone falling into those dark places, like you got to be extra on your guard, to try and help them, and try and get them the help that they need as much as possible, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's who knows what everybody did that was around him, as he was going through what he was going through, right? It's hard to know what actions and all that were taken, but it's just, again, it's just a stark reminder that it can happen to anybody at any time, and just to always be mindful of that and of the people around you.
Mm-hmm. Colin, you got anything to?
No, you guys said it well. This year has just, the year in review is going to suck. There's just been so much talent, so much pieces of childhood for my generation as well as your guys' generation. Just all of a sudden, I mean, look at Leslie Jordan. Okay, that one kind of hurt, because I enjoyed his videos all through the early COVID thing, just as much as millions of other people. And then the guy's just driving along, doing his thing in between work shoots, and then all of a sudden, he's gone. He's in his car's into a building, and that's it. You know, just
Yeah.
It's so random sometimes. I mean, there are people who, you know, like Jason, who took it, you know, who decided he wanted to end it on his terms because he just wherever he was, and then there's the other flip side of the coin where it just happens to people, and both are equally shocking, and they leave a lot of people asking, you know, what if somebody had, and then insert thing here, you know, like what if somebody had noticed that this person was sick, or what if they'd noticed that they needed help. You're all, you know, I had a friend from back from the Meadow Lake Village days, Baytown, and ended up killing himself. Okay, he was the third person I lost in a week that year. Okay, and turns out he had spent hours trying to call people just to find somebody to reach out to. And my younger brother Tony was one of the people, and because Tony taught him drums, Tony was like a mentor to him, and nobody got to him. Nobody got his calls, and you know, next thing you know, we're getting a phone call that he curled up in a closet with a tie and a thing and was gone. And you know, it does. It leaves you with a hole. I mean, it's like, you know, if he, I, it's because of that. I mean, he didn't try to call me because I wasn't up that high on the list of people for him to call. But if he had, I would have picked up the phone because that's what I do. I sleep maybe a couple hours a night because I get phone calls and texts from people all the time, and I don't want to be the guy that refuses a phone call or refuses a text and have something go really wrong. Even if I can't do anything, I'm going to at least try. And it's because of having lost people, you know, like that. You know, as a teenager, I had those thoughts all the time. I was a mess, you know, and somehow I managed to get through it. I don't know how. You know, some people would say the grace of God. Some people would say just blind luck. Whatever it was that kept me going has now given me that additional perspective. So, you know, and I have taken texts and phone calls from people who I barely know on Facebook. You know, when they just, you know, when I see that they're having something, I say, listen, if you need to just vent, I text them. I say, if you need to vent, I'm here. And someone will take me up on it. And I know that I've helped guide people through something, but I can't say it was that extreme. But there's always that one you go, what if?
And that's the one thing too, and I would add is that being open to listening, not giving constructive criticism, not giving, because you got to help them get to the problem they're dealing with, and hearing that stuff is could possibly set off that bomb. And that's it's like devil's advocate can only go so far. You have to listen to somebody, take in what they're saying, and try to find a way to help them through whatever they're going through.
I mean, and again, maybe that's not you actually being the one to help them. Maybe it's just you being the person to get them to the person that can, right?
Right. Listening to them and helping them realize their answer, or helping them realize, you know, that's most of the time, that's what it is for me. I'll put in something if I have some kind of experience with it or something, or what about this? But the 98% of the time, it's just let them, you know, let them work it through to the point where they're, whatever it is inside of them that wants to fight re-engages. Let them say, okay, well, wait a minute, what about, or okay, this, you know, or hey, somebody actually is taking a minute to listen to me, to my problem, you know, not being overshadowed, not being bumped off to the side, whatever it is. Okay, those are just examples. I would just assume, just that's like a lot of the times on the podcast here. I I don't say much a lot of times because I'm just absorbing it.
Mhm.
I'm listening, and that's my nature. And that all stems from that. And I don't know. It's
Yeah.
sometimes it's shell shock. Sometimes it's just trying to reorient.
Yeah, I know a lot of my friends and everybody on Facebook were taking it hard. I know Josh was taking it hard. He had made a really cool
I saw that.
mural.
That was pretty cool.
I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in the video. At
I was
some
gonna
point
say,
here.
yeah, that was really good. And it's fresh for him because this is your guys's Power Rangers was one of your guys's things because you were young. My older boys, that was the same time frame, same age group,
Mhm.
you know. And I remember watching it with them because it was one of those things. They want to watch this. Hey, this is okay. I know the origins of this. I'll sit down. I'll watch it with them. Was able to bond. So yeah, they're like, "Whoa, what happened?" And that's the same. That's your guys' thing. So I can see that being her. And Josh, he has the extra. It put a little extra stink on his situation because of his recent loss. So I can imagine, somebody ought to. Josh, if you're watching, hope you're doing okay, man.
I'm gonna check in on him. I usually try to message him every other day or so.
Right.
But yeah. So for those that don't know, my one of my best friends, Josh, he's been on the podcast I think twice. Hopefully to have him on more often, especially when we do the toy talk. But he just recently lost his real mom, and I was there for him, and when we got the news, so it was pretty rough. And of course, we've just recently lost Kevin Conroy and Jason David Frank. It's like these are icons to us. These are people that are like role models, people that we looked up to, and just having these people go has been rough. And there's a generation of kids between from born in 81 all the way up until like the late 90s that grew up watching Power Rangers or Batman, and it's like
Sometimes both. They overlapped.
Yep. So it's been difficult. I know that for sure. I know we just got over the anniversary of Hannah's best friend Angela, who passed last year. That was really rough and stuff, and I helped her through that. And it's that's hard on Josh too, because he dated her for a period of time, and my wife is Angela's daughter's godmother, so she's there to help her. Of course, she's older. She's in her 20s, so we're just trying to do what we can to help her have a good future. She's actually wanting to sign up for classes for college, so that's a good thing. I think she wants to follow in what her mom wanted to do, which was the pharmaceuticals, be a pharmacy technician or something. So we'll help her. Whatever she may change, she maybe wanted to be a paramedic or a doctor. All connections to that start with something. So
Yeah, as long as you're taking that first step, right? That's the important part. It's never stagnating. You're always trying to move forward, right? Because that's part of what helps is always understanding that you not only can, but you need to move forward. You need to move out of where you're at, and always, right? Always. Like that's just the nature of the beast. If you sit around and stagnate, then it can lead to it can lead to that negativity seeping in, because it's just kind of the way we are in life, right? We always want to see growth. We always want to kind of see some level of change in our lives, and even if it's not us directly, right, at a certain point it starts turning into more and more of those around us, of our kids. Whenever we get old enough, it turns into grandkids, and it's always getting to see and experience all that kind of keeps you together and keeps you looking forward, right? Because that's what you need. You always need something to look forward to, something to to engage in. That's important, right?
Yeah, we all have things going on in our lives. I mean, you know, someone being divorced or losing, separating from their girlfriend, or losing their job, or losing a family member. We all go through things. We're all going through rough stuff at the moment, but we just gotta stick together, keep moving forward. Find an outlet. That's another reason why I started the podcast. I needed some kind of creative outlet. My job was maddening because I was dedicating all my time to my job and my family, but I wasn't doing anything for myself. I wasn't doing anything creative. I needed something. And I've always wanted to do some kind of podcast or something creative within the industry. And this is giving me a way to do it. So don't ever count out your dreams and your hopes. It may be something you don't get to do until you're in your 40s. So, but
Or 50s.
yeah. Yep. See, what you see here is that Colin is actually in the real world. Me and David are in the Matrix.
Yeah.
But so on a different note, did you guys get to see the trailer for John Wick?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was out.
Yeah. It's actually
Came out a while ago.
Yeah, this is the story trailer. So it gives you kind of what's going on, and looks good. I'm interested. This is I'm looking for him to have his way out. I'm hoping that happens. But we'll see.
I to be completely honest, I don't want Wick to get out. I want it to be the end of Bebop, right? I want it to end with just him taking out a whole building single-handedly, and then that being it, right? Like I don't need Wick to survive. I almost don't want him to survive. Because I just think that they've built too much of that into the story at this point, right? That he's just in so deep in everything with everyone that either he's going to come out on top like Conan like Conan the Conqueror.
Yeah, he's going to be sitting on the chair, the owner chair at
the on the throne,
Continental.
Bored, right? He's gonna be bored on the throne, or he's just gonna have to go out in an insane blaze of glory. And then it's just like that's going to cement his legend in at the same point. And then B, I need him to go away because as much as I love John Wick, he's really starting to overstay
his welcome.
The story's welcome. It's like it was okay. We're going to get 3 movies. Okay, they're going to do a 4th. Oh, and a 5th, and they're going to shoot it at the same time. And now there's the spinoff, right? And he's going to show up in the spinoff. It's like, okay, guys, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, but you're beating it to death. You really are. Like let's come back. Right? Let the character
already turned to glue.
Right. Let the character go and do his thing, and then let him go, and then tell new and interesting stories
within the world. Within the world.
They built this crazy, intricate, insane world, and they've already shown us all of these really interesting other assassins at play in this world. So you can tell cool and interesting stories about these other people without having to involve Wick in it. And it can take on a life of its own. That's what you want from these kinds of things. You don't want to hook everything into John Wick, because if that is your horse and that's the only thing that carries you forward, well, then eventually it's going to die off, because eventually
you rode it too hard. You pushed it to the point of breaking.
Yeah, it's like, all right, then we're going to start getting into, American comics territory where it's like everyone's died 3 dozen times and they've come back 3 dozen times to the point where it's like none of it matters anymore. There's no weight anymore. It's like just let it pass. Bring in the new blood and let's go. Because I guarantee you that new blood can do some really interesting stuff. And a story that wouldn't have made sense for John can make sense for somebody else, Jane, right? It's like you can tell new and interesting stories and just go do it. And like that's what the industry's been doing with all this other crap, right? It's like we want to tell our own stupid sci-fi story, so let's just slather Star Trek paint on it and run. And it's like, yeah, but that's garbage because you're trying to fit all of that into this other huge extended universe, and it doesn't make sense. With John Wick, you don't have that. You have this great big open blank canvas that you can go and do whatever the hell you want because everything is so vague and so undefined at this point. So hey, here's a universe. Go play. Go play.
Well,
go do something interesting. Go do something cool.
You found Andy's toy box. It's like, all the set
Yeah.
pieces are there. Make a new story. Because Woody's gone. It's just Buzz and the rest of them. So, we could have new stories. Anyway, but did you guys get to see the Guardians trailer or teaser?
Yes. The holiday special thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care.
I was
Sorry.
like, I was not expecting just to see the actor who's playing Adam Warlock with just a orange tint on him and having his regular hair instead of the white hair the character is known for.
Yeah. And of course, what is it? Kevin Bacon's in it.
What?
Yeah.
But
Kevin
why?
Bacon.
As
Why,
Kevin
though?
Bacon. I don't know. It's like Bill Murray.
I do know the story behind it, but I'm just going to wait and see how it plays out.
So now he's even more deeply connected to everyone at this point because everyone's in the Marvel universe. And so because everyone's in the Marvel universe, now Kevin Bacon's in it, we've officially established, now we've cut down all these connections to one everywhere.
So this is the 64 degrees of Kevin Bacon instead of the 8?
Well, no, it's not even 64 anymore, right? You don't have to get out to 8 anymore. It's just, okay, this person was in this Marvel movie. Kevin Bacon was also in this Marvel movie. There you go. We're connected.
Well, he was already in an X-Men movie. He did play the villain in First Class.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, that wasn't MCU.
That wasn't Marvel MCU. Right? Yes, you're right.
That was Sony.
Yeah. Well, no,
so,
Fox. It was Fox.
I'm sorry, Fox. Fox. That's right. Sony's Spider-Man. My bad.
But did you guys get to see Black Panther? I haven't got to see it yet.
No. I have been lately. It's once I garner enough free tickets in the Cinemark app is whenever I finally be like, all right, family, we've got 4 free tickets that I've paid in. Not technically, but that I paid in on this monthly subscription for. So it's like, we got enough. Let's go and watch a movie. So I'm waiting on that. It's from everything I've heard, it seems okay, right? It's like, they changed up some stuff, but from the way everybody's talking, it's like, it's all right. Which I don't know if it's all right is really what you want from that movie, but
isn't that what we did with Thor? It was all right.
Yeah.
Other than the comedy.
I couldn't. I already said I couldn't finish it. I got 30 minutes in, I think, and I was just like, you know what? I'm tuning out. I noticed I was looking at my phone. I kept going back and looking at my phone and looking at my phone, and I was like, there's something else that's on right now, or something else out there that I could go be spending my time on. I don't want to waste 3 hours of my life trying to sit through this movie for the sake of it. So I went and I watched something else. Whatever that other thing was, I don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah.
That's been me lately. I've been watching stuff and I just don't remember what it was. Just because we're in the middle of looking at a camera talking about whatever. But
well, I mean, the last 2 things I watched all of Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, right? Which was it was a pretty good series. The majority of the shorts were good. But there were some ones that, like the one with the lady with the cream, right? That one was really, really, really like weird. And then the fact that the end of it just hovers on a person's face. Like there's hovering on a person's face to the point where it's unsettling. And then once you keep dragging it on, it stops being unsettling. And you're like, and the anticipation of, okay, is something supposed to be happening, right? It's like, oh man, is something going to happen? And then boom, roll credits. And you're like, oh man, that was crazy. But if that roll credits doesn't happen and that next thing that you're waiting on doesn't happen, then at a certain point, it loses that feel to it. And you're just like, okay, if you're not going to do anything, end it and let's get to the next episode. And that's kind of what that one did. And on that same note, the director of Mandy did an episode with RoboCop in it, and the effects in that episode were great, right?
Okay.
But I have now gotten full established that whatever this person directs, I just have to skip the first half of it. Because Mandy, the first half of that movie, I hated it. Oh my God, it dragged on for so long. And those weird scenes where it was just like it zoned it again, it hovered on her face and then it went back to the other guy's face. And then it came back to
With
her
the cultists
face.
and everything, yeah. I
And,
mean,
yeah, and her eyes were like dilating really weird and went back to his face. And it's like, okay.
It's almost
Guys, I'm not high right now, so this is doing nothing for me except I'm waiting for and that's kind of what that episode was in it. It was like just a lot of bullshit for half the episode. And then finally it was like, oh hey, here's the alien, and now everything gets crazy and there's lasers and guns and shit's blowing up. It's like, okay, great. We finally got to the like weird, creepy horror stuff to it. But getting there, man, was like, come on. Let's step up the pace. I think the best episode of it all was Pickman's Model. Pickman's Model was
okay.
really good, really good. And then what was it? The Autopsy was another one that was really good. And the last episode, The Murmuring. I think those are the 3 episodes that were by far the best of that little anthology. And then right now I'm watching Peripheral on Amazon with Chloe Grace Moretz. Hit Girl, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's based on a William Gibson novel or story, whatever, right? So it's kind of cyberpunk futuristic stuff, but it's been okay so far. I'm not totally into it, but I'm curious to see where it goes, and we'll see what they do with it. It kind of like anytime we get into cyberpunk stuff, especially where it's like virtual reality, but then it's sending you into the future and all this. It makes me think that if Philip K. Dick had written this, there'd be way more questioning of reality between all of it that I think would have made a way more interesting story. But it is what it is, and we'll see how it winds up. So far, it's not bad. We got Thanksgiving coming up. I've got family coming in from other states over, so I've had to convert the room that I usually do the recording in into a bedroom, kind of. But I've got a lot of my stuff kind of crammed into various corners and spaces around here. So they'll find whenever they show up, I'll just be like, okay, just don't open this door, because just don't. It'll be bad. Just don't do it.
He's gonna get attacked by a bunch of board games. Roll initiative.
Right. A ton of board games. I really need to get shelves for those damn things, because I feel bad for the boxes on the bottom, because I know that they're warping and going to shit.
What's the way you're supposed to put the harder boxes on the bottom?
I do, but if you pile, if you've got 10 levels of other games sitting on top of them, it doesn't really matter how sturdy of a box that is. Time and gravity is going to take its course eventually. And if not, it'll just kind of like wear grooves into the tops of them and all that good stuff. So I've got my favorite ones up towards the top, and there's like because it's supposed to be an actual closet, so there's a line where it's got a lower level of hangers for some reason. And so I'm kind of using that as a point of, okay, here's some boxes that have already started falling apart. Let me just use that as a sort of shelf to start, but I just need to take that thing out and install actual shelves into that closet and truly convert it. But I'll get around to it eventually, which probably means never, but that's fine.
Yeah, I am on call this week. I am not going anywhere. I don't want to drive anymore. Driving up back with my dad, driving to my cousin's wedding, driving him up home and driving back. I don't want to get in a car again, other than going to work. I'm done for until Christmas week. But
Be glad you're not living up here then.
You gotta shovel your car out.
Do a little more than shovel.
Just
you ever seen
Yeah,
the
I know.
thing when they go in the shed and stuff, and there's that
Yeah.
underground flying saucer that Blair was building? That's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
And
Thinking of-
picture on top of that, from our porch door to our van, it's like 30 yards, and it's all at a 30-degree angle. So if you happen to catch and up here, it started off with the really heavy snow, the mix. So once it hits the ground, it's like extra 10 pounds, and it freezes. And everything that comes in afterwards just packs on top of it and makes it this nice little sheet. So if you get down low enough, you hit this slippery level, and then all of a sudden it's a toboggan, all the way down. Forget trying to go back up. It's down.
you got yourself a nice little slide all the way down.
Oh, yeah. Down is great. Easy. Up, not so much.
That's where you just need the little things with the spikes, right? Be able to make your way.
Yeah.
We've gone through those too.
Spiky cleats.
Spiky cleats, those hiking staff thingies like the mountaineers use.
It's like every time he goes outside, it's like the thing. He's got to test his blood every time he comes back inside.
There you go. You mentioned UFO. I completely forgot that we watched it really, really late, which is part of the reason why I didn't quite remember it. But we actually watched Nope, right?
Okay, yeah.
It was on it's on Paramount for streaming, and so we watched that. It was really enjoyable. It's probably the Jordan Peele movie I enjoyed the most, just in terms of
a unique concept of what
yes,
he's come up with. That's one of the things I did enjoy about it.
Yeah, it was really cool, and the way that like everything, and there's so many little bitty hints of things that that maybe you don't quite pick up on, if like the fact that his sister she talks in the very beginning about how she's she's an actress, right? And she messes up, or you think that she messes up the delivery of their "Hey, this is what we're about" line. But then later on in the movie, she's watching a video of her dad give that exact same speech. And so you realize that the reason why she didn't put enough greats in her grandfather's, title or whatever you want to say, is because all she was doing was reenacting her dad in that moment. It's just, again, like so many cool little things that he slips in to each of the characters to make them feel even more real, right?
Mhm.
In those, that's what's really good and plays really well in that movie.
Cool. Okay, quick roll back here. I am on Crunchyroll. The Irresponsible Captain Tyler is there, along with the Irresponsible Galaxy Tyler.
Yeah, that's the second season or the second series. Yeah, you just watch the first 3 episodes and let me know how you think about it.
Is it behind premium? Because I swear I ever since Crunchyroll and Funimation have rolled into each other, I got onto Crunchyroll and I feel like 3/4 of everything is behind the premium wall. It's like I don't pay for Crunchyroll, and so but I would get on and I would be able to watch pretty much everything, right? Like everything is out.
It is.
I was able to watch it, but now that I get on there, like everything has the little crown on the face of it.
Yeah.
Like old stuff, right? Like the original Voltron premium. I'm like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Son of a bitch. It's all premium only.
There you go. See?
You
bastards. No, sorry.
You bastard.
Actually,
and I don't watch enough Crunchyroll to make premium worth it to me. Like, and the few things that I have been watching, like the son and I, he's been trying to get me to watch all of Fire Force. I think the 3rd season's supposed to be coming out, or they're working on it. And I know the manga's wrapped up, So I don't know how many seasons that means for the anime, but
Mhm.
fun little anime. That's fun little shonen anime to watch. So we've been
I heard
starting
it
to
was
watch.
pretty good. I haven't watched it myself, but I heard it was pretty good.
Okay, the Irresponsible Galaxy, Tyler.
Uh-huh.
There are 12 episodes. They're all on the premium only thing. And each one is 3 minutes. It says 3 minutes on every one of them.
Maybe it's a preview?
No,
Yeah.
it literally said, like for instance, okay, number 12, E12. Today is one special day. The two Tylers are reunited, blah, blah, blah. 3 minutes.
Two
The
Tylers.
whole thing.
I have
Every
no
one
clue.
says that is really.
It seems like some shenanigans he would get himself into of cloning himself. I don't know.
I don't know. I was just
Yeah.
their use like Black Clover dubs. Yeah.
Well, I started watching
Yeah.
Brotherhood of the Wolf today, a little bit before we started watching Batman, because it's like there's some scenes where it's like, yep, I can't watch this with Edward.
Yeah, Brotherhood of the Wolf's a little high up there in terms of.
Yeah.
I actually showed the wife X because Pearl came out on Blu-ray.
Oh,
So I got her to watch X so that way we can both sit down and watch Pearl, because that's an interesting little movie. X, that was I wasn't I wasn't quite sure what to expect from that one, because I haven't really seen any movies by Ty West before. That was my first introduction to him, and it seems like most of his movies he kind of shifts style quite a bit, but I enjoyed X quite a bit. It made me laugh pretty hard in one particular scene that dealt with a silhouette and a Johnson that was pretty funny in the middle of some pretty graphic violence. But yeah, now I'll be moving on to Pearl here once I get enough free time to sit down with the wife and knock that out. So we'll see what happens. I don't know how much the family members coming in are into what types of movies. So it'll be interesting finding out. They'll be hanging out here for a week, so I guess we'll get to find out how much degeneracy and games they're into.
Right.
uh,
Now they got a hotel, or you're gonna be like hauling
No,
butt.
I'm staging them here again. That's why my backdrop's different, because I had to convert this room into a bedroom because they're actually staying here with us for the week. And then supposedly they want to go to Renfest. I don't know if they understand that it's just a Saturday, Sunday thing. Like if they think that, hey, we'll just go during the week and we'll leave on the weekend, it's like, well, if you want to go to Renfest, at minimum, you're not leaving till late Saturday, which I doubt they would want to do, or Sunday. So I don't know if they've quite calculated that, because I haven't really been involved in communicating
planning
plans,
everything.
setting all that stuff up. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting. At least we need to go this weekend because we've got some free tickets for this year that we need to go burn, because I feel bad getting free tickets and not utilizing them somewhat.
Well, I know that I was telling Anna she needs to talk to her mom about what we want to do as far as what we're going to contribute to whatever they're going to do for Thanksgiving. I know that I'm going to do a honey baked ham
Nice.
and probably my dad's dressing, but I don't know what they're doing. I told Anna that if we can't be incorporated with them, just give me a brisket. I'll go cook that out in the on the grill.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Texas style.
who needs turkey? That's the whole thing, right? It's like everybody's sitting there, and it's the tradition, right? Oh, we got to get a turkey. We got to get a turkey. It's like turkey kind of sucks, if you're honest. Like, there's better stuff out there to eat. Like I know my aunt one year, she's like, hey, instead of turkey, how about we do like tamales and tacos? I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. Man, I'm not chained to, and I don't need ham. I don't need turkey. If you want to come at me with barbacoa and beef, I'm all there. 100%. Let's do it.
Wait, when am I coming over to your house for Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Well, no, this year we got the turkey, unfortunately.
Yeah, no. Well, and that's the thing, is like, now that I'm not part of the company I did work for, and I'm still supporting them, I didn't get to take part in the free turkey that they usually give us out. So I missed out on that. But that's okay.
Man, you needed to wait till that turkey, and then you put in your notice. That's what you got.
I didn't put my notice in. they
They
did the
put his
transition.
notice in for him.
Yeah, this was back in. Remember, I got transitioned over back in January. So
Oh,
that
okay.
happened.
So
I didn't get
Yeah.
my.
folks weren't.
No, I didn't
Okay.
get. I didn't get my notice as far as like they usually give out emails saying, "Hey, we're going to be doing the turkey trot this day or whatever." I didn't get that because I don't get emails from my old company anymore. I do, but not for HR emails. But no, when I do I've been doing that did that honey baked ham for forever, and I know the first time I did it for Anna's family, they were like, "Oh my god, this is like candy," and it just got devoured. And I was like, "Man, I was hoping I was gonna have some of that for lunch the next day."
I remember your dad used to work at one of those.
A honey baked.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting.
Yeah, I just remember the flamethrower that you guys would use
Yeah.
to roast them, and then
Oh yeah.
the story about the guy that was being stupid with a flamethrower, got his butt beat.
I can't remember any names, and it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, we don't want to incriminate anybody.
Yeah,
But statute of limitations. Fine.
yeah.
Well, this is what my dad would call one of those guys that was a head, or he took part in the white powder, or as you would say, or other things like that.
He partook of stuff. Yeah, those were heads. Yeah, I don't know. We're doing a turkey here. Plus, we're volunteering at a church that we're doing our first open Thanksgiving for the community. So I'm gonna be doing like that all day. All I want is sweet potato pie. That's all I want. You can shape it into what animal you want. I don't care. I'll take it.
When you come down, whenever that happens, Amber's got to make you her sweet potato casserole. It's amazing.
Okay.
David's had it, I believe.
Huh?
Eve, you've had my sister's sweet potato casserole, right? One year they came down, or
I do not recall.
yeah, it's got like graham cracker crust, like, I mean, she like pecans and brown sugar. I mean, it's awesome.
Sounds good. But yeah,
marshmallows.
Yeah.
See, that's what the wife makes here. Is she just makes some kind of sweet potato casserole and then throws a bunch of marshmallows and crap on top of it. So
yeah,
that's what we get. I can't say that there's pecans and graham cracker and all the rest of that stuff in it. So I gotta have a word with her and see if she can get with her and make some alterations to the recipe.
I definitely need to go figure out what we're gonna do for pies and stuff. I know that they usually make a thing called dirt, and it's like pudding, a vanilla pudding with like mushed up Oreos, Cool Whip, and then a couple other things.
Yeah.
That's
so
for a couple of days.
Up here, they do a variation that for Halloween time with the gummy worms and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So my grandmother for years made a thing that she called chocolate delight, which was it was in a casserole dish. It was pie crust on the bottom, and then it was like a layer of cream cheese and powdered sugar that she would blend together and put that down. Then a big thick layer of like chocolate pudding, and then a layer of whipped cream on top of that, and then like chocolate shavings on top of that. So you just come over there and cut out a section of it and just eat that. And it was good. It's good stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss my sister's pies. She's gonna have to send me down an apple pie because her apple pies she does are really good. But then she's been doing like was it pumpkin cheesecake? And I remember there's one year she made pecan pie and she forgot something in it, and it just turned into like pecan brittle. Like instead of peanut brittle, it was pecan brittle.
Hey,
she was so mad.
Hey man, pecan brittle sounds kind of awesome. And I want to say, I think Bucky's actually sells a pecan like brittle, like legitimately. I think they actually sell that.
Well,
something like that.
it was not edible, man. It became like a solid
Oh.
frisbee.
Okay, I got you.
And I'm like, man, and
Brick.
it's a her thing. It wasn't, she was already flustered because it just was going on when she was down, and then she just forgot like 2 ingredients. So it just became this frisbee that we had to take out of the out of the pan.
Play
Oh,
catch
man.
with the dog.
Yeah, here's something to chew on for a little bit.
Right? Yeah.
Dog comes back with broken teeth. You're talking about bitch.
Ah, man, no. The one thing I'm gonna miss, and I know how to make it, so it's not that big of a deal. But my grandmother used to make this cauliflower casserole. You know, it's breadcrumbs, like you make a cheese sauce, cauliflower, and everything, bake it. It's really good. I don't want to give too much of the recipe. I'll make it and stuff. And,
Cool.
yeah, but that, and I'll make probably green bean casserole. You know, I don't know. It's gonna be good. I'd rather have a brisket. I can make potato salad.
No, you froze up again.
I did. Well, I did freeze up on my.
It was like Deep
that's
Fox
okay.
with Jack Handy.
Yeah, you're like this for a minute.
And then my hand went
And,
like
and you're just narrating over yourself.
well,
And actually, if it comes like that on the video, it'll be great.
it won't, because it's recording from my audio.
Oh,
Yeah, so all his stuff is fine. We're the messed up ones.
oh man, that was great though. It was that forlorn look, and you're talking about an experience, and it was like watching a narration scene in a movie.
It's like my head, no, or it's me talking in my head.
Yeah.
At this moment, Vince is talking about this.
It was
wondering about why he's talking about this, because it's not
Well, right now, Funky, your face is missing.
Yeah.
it's better than the alternative.
There you go. Oh.
So, any big plans though for Thanksgiving, guys? Are you guys gonna play any board games?
No, it's like I said, midday. We're gonna be at the church for a few hours, feeding the community, and then no service that night. So I'm gonna come home, and usually on the big holidays, after the meals are done, I sit here in the studio. That's basically what it is. I've got one track to finish, so I'll have another album done for my birthday. So
That's cool. Yeah, no, like I said, for us, like we've met this family before, because we flew out to them when one of their kids was getting married, but we didn't stay with them. We got an Airbnb in the area, so we haven't like been with them directly before. So I don't, board games is one of those things where sometimes you ask someone, "Hey, are you into board games?" and they say, "Yeah." And then you realize that what they had in their mind when you said board game was like Candyland or something like that, right?
or the dreaded
You're
M one.
walking in with, Fortune and Glory, and it's got a Risk-sized map. It's got 30 different decks of cards, all these different widgets and punch outs and all sorts of crap. And you're like, okay, here's the board game. And they just like kind of like, their eyes glaze over, and they realize that they've completely, it was in that moment that he realized he fucked up, right?
It's more like them going, it is at this moment we realize we went to the wrong house, and they're a bunch of cultists who want to indoctrinate us to their Lord and Savior, board games.
Yes. Well, I mean, and that's the thing, right? I tried explaining to a friend, because they kept talking about wanting to do a board. This is a set of friends, not the family that's coming in. And the set of friends kept talking. They're like, "Yeah, hey, they found out that we play board games." They're like, "Yeah, we'd love to play board games." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, what would y'all be up for playing?" They're like, "Well, we don't want to play anything like D&D." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. I didn't even have that in my mind. Right? We can avoid that altogether." They're like, "All right, well, we can't have like zombies." I'm like, y'all are not answering the question. Just like, what kind of, and then we wound up settling on Ultimate Werewolf, and now it's like all they want to play, and it's one of those like Mafia, right, where it's everyone gets dealt a card, and that's their role, and their role functions differently, and it's all about trying to figure out who the werewolf is, right? And now that's all they want to do, and I'm like, okay, I can only play this game like X number of times before I start getting really tired of it, because it just devolves into everyone shouting at each other constantly. No, you lied. I had that. Blah blah blah. No, but yeah, but so and so switched y'all too, and well, but that person checked and they said that they were still a thing. And blah da 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 da. It's like, okay, guys, this is like really stressful. And yeah, it's fun the first like dozen times, but we've played it 2 dozen times in the last hour. Can we give it a rest to move on? And it's just trying to figure out if they're the kind of people that you can slowly move them into other kinds of games, right? Or if it's they just find their thing and that's where they're stuck with. And those friends, I've introduced them to like Sentinels, and they seem to enjoy the competitive, or the not competitive, the cooperative kind of card game thing going on. So I'm trying to think of other stuff I have that we can play to do that. So I don't know if these family members are going to be in that vein where I can ease them in with some of this other stuff and then get them to play other things, or if it's just going to be nothing but Candyland or something, because they're not ready for my Candyland. I can tell you that.
I'd like to use this topic to do one of my favorite Adam West impersonations. Okay.
Okay.
Would anybody like to play Stratego? I have Stratego.
Very nice.
Okay, so all I could think of when David was telling me the story about this group of friends and how that it divulges into nothing but shouting and complaining about who had what and who was winning and all that sort of stuff. And I could think of David going and looking at his box and going, and he pulls the thing down. It's Monopoly. No.
So I actually got a notification from Kickstarter, right? Because Come On is having Miniature Market deliver the remaining Zombicide Undead or Alive stuff, right? Which means that it's probably going to be coming through them. Well, I've ordered stuff from Miniature Market before, and just every once in a while I'll check their website every now and then to see like what kind of deals and what new stuff has come out and all that stuff, right? And the other day I pulled it up, and the big banner up on top of the website was Monopoly, and I'm like, son, how can you have a sale of Monopoly? Like, I mean, I know that there's a million of them, but Jesus, like how many do y'all carry? And so out of curiosity, I clicked on it, and holy shit. It's like we got Nintendo Monopoly, we got Fortnite Monopoly, we got James Bond Monopoly, we got, God of War Monopoly. It's like, Jesus Christ, how many variations of this goddamn game do you have?
Every university has a Monopoly version.
Yeah. I mean, I joke with my friends. I'm like, yeah, there's literally a board game for anything. Like anything you can imagine, somewhere out there, someone has devised a board game or a tabletop game that will mimic the thing that you want to do. What I didn't realize is that that also applies to Monopoly. Anything that you can think of, anything that you can imagine, there's a monopoly of it. So, like, the game itself doesn't fundamentally change. It's all still the same awful, horrible game. But now it has everything is named after, I don't know, shit from Ninja Turtles. It's like now, instead of being destroyed by the fact that there's a castle of hotels on Park Place and Market Garden or whatever the heck it's called. Now it's a giant stack of sewer lids right on top of like Shredder's Castle and in the TMNT
sewer layer.
It's like, no, I don't need that in my life. I have enough hate in my heart. I don't need it to spread to things that I love.
So what's cool is that that's why I like the Metal Gear Solid Risk that came out, because you can play regular Risk, and then you can play the rules they came up with that involves Metal Gear, like the Arsenal gear and all this other stuff, and that's awesome. So Monopoly just can't figure out how to do that, though.
I don't want them to. Just don't. For all the people that like all the people that love Titanic, right? For all you people that love Titanic and love Monopoly, that's your corner over there. I know where you're at now, and I can avoid you at this point. So I'm good. I know who the evil. I know where the evil in society is. I don't need you to try and trick me, right? Be like, hey, you want to play this version of Monopoly? It's completely different. I'm like, okay. So what you're telling me is it's not Monopoly. It's some brand new game. And then I start playing it, and somehow I will wind up forfeiting like my actual house to someone because I'll have landed on the wrong thing at the end of the game. And I'll be like, yeah, I officially hate this game even more now. It's good. Thank you. Thank you for tricking me into this, Monopoly. You sons of bitches.
We have finally gone back to the Monopoly episode.
Let me ask you this, David.
Yeah.
What if DC partnered with Monopoly for certain heroes to have their own board game version?
They could
Batman and Green Lantern.
Well, I'll do you one better. They could come out with a War of Light Monopoly, right? Where it's all the spectrum, right? It comes with these amazingly detailed little figures. Don't care. I will never touch it. I will never go near that thing. It's cursed. It is a cursed game. Like, so yeah, we all talked right during Halloween about Ouija boards and all that stuff. No, Monopoly is where the demons hang out at. Except they don't have to communicate to you. All they do is generate rage through the board game. That's it. It kind of reminds me of the book Good Omens, where the demon Crowley talks about how like it's the demon Crowley and a bunch of other demons show up at one point in the book, and they walk up to each other, and one of them goes, you know, I put lust into the heart of this person, and will have their soul within the year, right? And another person, and then another demon comes up and is like, I put, I put envy in the heart of this teacher, and will have their soul within the year. And then Crowley walks up and he goes, I got the civil department to design this motor speedway so that it causes maximum amounts of gridlock, and we'll have 100 souls within the year. And they all look at him like he's crazy. Like, what are you talking about? And he goes, no, you don't understand. It is the fact that people will be stuck in traffic will drive them to anger and rage and wrath and sin and all that stuff. And that's great. But they, like the other demons, had no way of comprehending that. That's Monopoly. Somewhere out there, some demon devised that stupid game to spread wrath and hatred and anger and division in families. And that's what that game is.
The board game that killed Thanksgiving, Christmas, and every day of the world.
That's right. Yeah. That's why I stick with other stuff like like Betrayal at the House on Haunted Hill or something like that, right? Something where it might cause some division, but at the same time everybody teams up to beat the one person who wound up drawing the evil card with shovels.
I'm really hoping that I'm going to get to play some board games. It'll probably just end up being me, Anna, and Edward, but it'd be kind of cool to get her parents in something. I'd love to play the Alive and Undead, but that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, there's a card game that I've been seeing. I think it's called Exploding Babies.
Well, there's Exploding Kittens.
I don't know. There's like a whole bunch of variations of it. I've been seeing them at Walmart. And I didn't have any clue what it was, and yet the boys were like, oh, yeah, that's this and this and this. And I'm like, because there's like kittens and babies, and there's like exploding marble, I think. And then I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm thinking, what is it? And the best that I could get from the description of it, from what they were telling me, is it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity or something like that, maybe. That might be the one.
Because then there's also
there were like expansion packs. That one I definitely saw.
Yeah, so it's not Cards Against Humanity. Um, it's there are exploding kittens that you shuffle into a deck, and you play. You deal out cards to everyone, and there's various different kinds of cards that let you do different things, like see the next 3 cards up. There's ways to play stuff to stop other people from playing, and various other things. At the end of the day, it's just a big game of hot potato, honestly, because there's enough exploding kittens in the deck to destroy everyone except for one person. And everyone has a card called a diffuse card. So the way it works is at the end of every turn, you draw a card, unless you have a card that allows you to skip. You draw a card, and if you draw the exploding kitten, you can diffuse it and then put it back in the deck at random. And the next person that draws it, right, either can diffuse it, or if you don't have any diffuses, then you get blown up. And so it's just a game of playing that, right? Where you're just trying to avoid getting the exploding kitten. And then all the other variants, like the zombie kitten one and all that stuff, adds new mechanics, right? Where, okay, now instead of you getting blown up by the kitten, right, you might die. But then if you play this card, you get to come back at a different time in the game and all this other stuff. But at the heart of it, it's just a game of hot potato or keep away, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, it's fun. I played it with David.
But then there's also, like, if you're talking about Cards Against Humanity, right? There's a million offshoots of that. Crabs Against Humidity, all the other kind of stuff. There's a billion different variations of that
Yeah,
system.
that are also themed to different things. Yeah.
Yeah. Like my son, he actually went to a birthday party not that long ago, and apparently they were playing a band, because it was a bunch of band nerds. They were playing a band themed version of Cards Against Humanity. I was like, I didn't even know that existed. That seems weirdly specific, but whatever. Oh,
Yeah, I need a. There's that new D&D expansion coming out, or the D&D board game that's coming. What is it?
All right. Now, do you know anything about bears versus babies?
I've seen it. I haven't played it.
By Exploding Kittens. So, a monster building card game.
Yeah, I've seen the box, because the box is like a brown, like furry thing, but I've never played it, so I'm not familiar.
I don't know, because it had been a long time since I'd walked down the games aisle, and this was a few weeks ago when we were out getting, just random crap for whatever reason. I said, all right, we'll go take a look, and then I'm like, what? What?
Yeah,
the landscape had changed.
There's a bunch, yeah, especially if you go to like Walmart, right, or Target. They just have, like you said, a million variants of exploding kittens. For a while, they had a bunch of stuff for unstable unicorns and stuff like that. So
yeah. So this one is the Yawning Portal, David.
I thought that's been
No, it's
for D&D.
No, hold on.
You disappeared.
I'll put it up on the thing. I'll send it to you. Hold on.
So wait. Oh, is it for the tabletop, or is it for
it's a tabletop? Like, it's 1 to 4 player game from ages 12 and up.
Oh my god,
that's out. Tales from the Yawning Portal.
No, just the Yawning Portal, not Tales from. Here, I'll put it in the.
These are not card games. Taco versus burrito.
I know we played the Zombie Dice that did the. It came out with Donna and Edward back when we were still living over there, and she enjoyed that one a lot.
But yeah, Exploding Kittens looks good. I'm going to be grabbing that, I think. Poetry for Neanderthals was another one that I saw that looked interesting.
So this is settle in for a roll licking time at the Yawning Portal Tavern with
Okay,
the
so yeah,
Dungeons and
no,
Dragons. The
okay.
Yawning Portal game is a fresh take on the D&D experience for both D&D experts and newcomers. This iconic inn attaches fascinating adventures with one thing in common. They're famished and they have a unique taste in food. So basically you're I guess you're trying to like feed people that are coming into the tavern.
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry. When I said tabletop, I meant like the pen and paper RPG.
Yeah.
So
No, I know what you mean.
that's for the actual like a board
Yeah.
games.
Mhm.
Okay, I got you. That's where I was. I was like, no, man. I was like, Tales from the Yawning Portal's been out for like long ass time now, but
Oh yeah, no. This is yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Looks fun. I think there's a couple other ones I've seen I just haven't pre-ordered yet. Um and then I know that the Resident Evil 1 board game is supposed to be shipping, I think, next month sometime. So I should have that by the first of the year or within a couple weeks of. So
That's
I'm looking
cool.
forward to that. That'd be fun.
yeah.
I wish I could have got the expansion stuff because like I think you get the tyrant, but like there was Jan's basically you could fight Jan and then you could fight Black Tiger, the giant spider, so the snake and the spider. Those were expansions. Um
Well,
that was cool.
a lot of that stuff, like for the Kickstarters, even the Kickstarter exclusive stuff, winds up a lot of times on that miniature marketplace if you've
Yeah.
never checked it out. But yeah,
I need to check it out. Because yeah, Neptune's the other one. They had the whole where you can actually do the whole fight with the shark. So that'd be cool to get. I just need to be able to sit down and play it. I have all three of them, and I have yet to be able to play them yet. Well, of course, yet, but
yeah,
just trying to get everybody over has been a bit rough, especially within this year.
yeah. The last couple of years, it's been hard to coordinate getting folks together.
Well, that's why I look forward to doing the whole actually board game with you guys at some point, and doing it either live or as just an episode.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm just looking forward to a relaxing time this week. At least try to. Hopefully, I don't have a whole lot of weird people, putting in high tickets because they decided to work on a holiday.
Yeah.
yeah. That's where I'm hoping that because I'm actually going to be going into work for at least Monday through Wednesday, and I'll be taking off Thursday and Friday. But from what I heard, Wednesday will probably be let go early, and
Mhm.
the project I'm on has been pretty high stress for a lot of people, and the management's been very cognizant of that, and they've been trying to really push to give people time off and all that stuff. So I might walk in there and they might immediately like the manager might just stand there at the door and be like, nope, just or they might even send out an email, hey, you know what, guys, go ahead and charge tomorrow, but don't bother coming in, which would be pretty sweet. But
Yeah, it'd be nice.
we'll see how that goes. I mean, the wife and then we'll be hanging out with the family coming in, so that'll be good. And I'll be spending all time. Hopefully, I'm still kind of supporting the previous project I was on. I'm just hoping that they don't wind up being the crazy ones sending a whole bunch of questions and stuff. Same deal, right? It's
Yeah.
like, hey guys, the holiday week. Let's take it easy, please.
Well,
Let's hit it hard next week. Let's make this one an easy one.
well, yeah, and the whole thing too is like, I think I'm gonna work. I got 12 desktops I got to deploy tomorrow. Um, and then I have another 12 that needs to be taken up to one of the other locations, and then but that'll be next week. So I'm gonna try to put in all my stuff in the front end so that way I can probably leave early on Wednesday. If we even leave early, I want to make sure I get my time in.
Yeah.
And of course I got to work Black Friday, so that's no big deal. It's going to be laid back time. We normally don't have really anything going on. But have you been checking out any of the deals that's been going on, or at least coming up?
I keep like because we've got the family coming in, so we've got the extra mouths to feed, and AT&T just decided to like kick us in the nuts on that. I'm kind of trying to take it easy a lot on what's out there, right? Um, we've gotten a couple things for some family members, but yeah, I've been trying to keep my blinders on, be good, try not to drain out my bank account before, you know, have people come over and gotta provide a little extra food and everything for them. So maybe by the time we get to the end of it, and then if we're going to Renaissance Festival on the weekend, right? It's like that's not cheap either. So it's like
Mhm.
I've been trying not to look too hard. There's been a couple things that have come up that have kind of made me interested, but I've been pushing it all to the back of my mind. Just you know what, I can wait. I can wait. I can wait. I can wait. Take that little lizard part of my brain and stuff him in a hole somewhere and be like, you go away. I don't need you messing with me right now.
Yeah, luckily I've bought most of the stuff I want this year, so there's only a few things that if they're on sale I'll probably nag, but I'm not going all out crazy.
Yeah, I mean the only things right now I can think of that are out and coming up that I want to go get is I don't have the new God of War yet, but I want to get it because I want to play it.
Hmm.
I just realized that the remake of Front Mission I think comes out this week. I'm
I
like,
think
oh,
so. Yeah,
I
I
think so.
gotta go look.
Yeah, I think it's the week of Thanksgiving that's coming out, and then the week after that, Callisto Protocol drops. Like, so
I'm gonna be streaming that one. So yeah,
yeah,
can't
I'm
wait.
excited. But yeah, it's like those three are like right now, or they, I haven't got it yet. It's about to come out, and then it's coming out right after that. Is all sitting in that little time frame, and I'm like,
Yeah, because Gungrave's coming out, the new Gungrave game. And then like the new Pokemon games, but I'm gonna wait till those are patched because I've heard that they're just a broken mess.
oh yeah,
Violet and Scarlet.
yeah.
So
I know I've seen a lot of complaining that everybody's like, man, this looks like a PS2 game and stuff like that, like just showing like the textures on walls and in different areas. And I'm like, yeah, that kind of looks like garbage, but
well,
it's
like
Pokemon.
the graphical glitches too. Like there's times where you throw a Pokeball at a Pokemon and it like it freezes and the backgrounds pop out and they start popping in before like the animation goes for the ball to capture the Pokemon. It's weird. There's some of the stuff
Hey,
that I've seen is weird.
what are you doing? Like, what's going on?
You know what it is? It's them trying to do the whole thing of like Assassin's Creed with Ubisoft, you know, because they were doing a Assassin's Creed game a year. Now they're doing Pokemon games a year. Maybe two Pokemon games in the same year.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, guys, give
You
yourself a break,
need-
work on polishing it. What, David?
I'm like, do you need the money that bad? Like, is
Yeah.
Pokemon really doing that bad these days? I mean, it's still like what one of if not the top selling like Nintendo franchise like of all time, right? It's like
Mhm.
is Nintendo hurting for money? Is Game Freak hurting for money? I can't imagine that they are, but Jesus.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who acted like they're hurting for money. You hear about what happened to, I can't remember his name, the guy who basically created Sonic the Hedgehog
Oh
over in
yeah.
Japan?
I heard somebody's in jail, right?
Insider trading.
Insider
He
trading.
pulled a
Yeah, I heard
Martha
that.
Stewart.
Yeah. Yuji. I think what?
That was weird reading that.
Yeah.
He's been a part of a lot of games and he's been really, and then I'm like, wait, because of an advanced release or leaked information about a game that was coming.
Yeah. Yuji Naka. Yeah.
Yeah. I read that. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's a weird world we live in, man.
That it is.
But all right, so let's go ahead and wrap up the episode. Everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We hope you enjoyed the rant and cherish the memories of Jason David Frank. If you were impacted by him in any way, spend time with your kids, share that love with them so his legacy lives on. But we will definitely be safe and get ourselves fat and full, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Catch you later.
Deuces.